where you're from, but for most people it will be in the morning in the United States. Very nice to have you all here today. And we're going to talk about a very exciting topic, Bitcoin. It's been a lot on the news lately, Tesla and all that kind of stuff. We want to talk today why it makes sense to add Bitcoin to your rewards program. So this webinar has been organized by Zozodeg, which is, thank you for setting this up, by the way, Zozodeg. This is a really nice opportunity. And as you all know, and Suhas will later give the full explanation, Zozodeg is a rewards platform. So from Zozodeg today, we have Suhas Gujarati, who is responsible for the US operation. Hey Suhas. And then we have Akin from the Aztec side. Akin is the founder and CEO, and he will walk us through a bit more about what Bitcoin is and what it means. Before we dive in, just a very short overview of what we're going to talk about. We're first going to talk about why Bitcoin is important. Then we're going to talk a bit more in detail why Bitcoin is important on the one hand for employees specifically, and on the other hand for employers, and how Aztec makes Bitcoin easy. Then after that, Suhas will give a thorough explanation on how you can actually easily offer vouchers through the Zozodeg Plum employee benefits platform, followed by a short Q&A session where we will take time to answer the questions you might have. So if you have any question, there's a special functionality, Q&A in the Zoom platform here. So please ask your question. Don't be shy. We will try to answer as many questions as possible within the time. So yeah, without further ado, I now give the floor to Akin Fernandez, CEO of Aztec. Akin.
Thank you for the introduction, Tom. So to start off with, why is Bitcoin important? As we've all seen in the news recently, Bitcoin is a global business opportunity, with companies like Tesla and PayPal exposing Bitcoin as a way of paying and as a way of exchanging amongst over 400 million people, and that's just dealing with the United States. So it's being used not only to pay for things, but as a means of remittance, replacing companies like Rio and Western Union. Bitcoin is the money of the internet. And so just as everyone uses email to send messages to each other, people are going to be using Bitcoin to send value to each other. The increasing adoption of Bitcoin is going off the charts. It's happening much quicker than people imagined that it would have, because the utility of Bitcoin is so absolutely incredible. You can essentially use money without the permission of a third party, using only your mobile phone. This represents a sea change in how people do remittance, payments, and other kinds of financial transactions, completely cutting off from the way people used to do things. Next slide, please. Now, Bitcoin for employees. In our use case of Azteco, we're calling Bitcoin the universal gift card. So if you're familiar with rewards that offer Amazon.com vouchers, iTunes, and many of the other vouchers that are available on the market, you will understand what it is that Azteco offers. We offer a voucher system that sits very cleanly next to these other voucher systems. It's very simple for the users to understand. There's nothing new to learn about Bitcoin exchanges or any of the mechanisms which are rather convoluted to do with Bitcoin. It's something very easy to understand. It's consumer grade technology and doesn't take any kind of learning in order to use. This, in the terms of Bitcoin, is a sea change on top of the sea change of Bitcoin, making it useful and understandable by ordinary people. Next slide, please. So, Bitcoin for employees. Once again, Bitcoin can be used to buy anything on or offline from any vendor. Many people, many store owners now, are beginning to accept Bitcoin as a means of payment. And this is very important because with Bitcoin, payer fraud is totally eliminated. It's a one-way push system, meaning that once a Bitcoin transaction is made to a retailer, it cannot be undone. So this means that the 7 to 8% of all credit card transactions that get undone because the payer has had his credit card copied, this can no longer happen. So you can sell online with absolute confidence that once you get paid in Bitcoin, that money belongs to you. Bitcoin can be used as a cash card also. It can be exchanged back into your local currency, and there are businesses that are beginning to emerge that do precisely that. Once again, because payer fraud is totally eliminated with Bitcoin, these companies will be able to accept Bitcoin as a means of exchange and then pay out fiat money in whatever currency it is, knowing that it is not possible that the transaction can be undone. Bitcoin is a verification layer and a means of sending money from A to B. And this is part of the total transformation in how people account for value. Also, because there are billions of people yet to come on to the Bitcoin network and only 21 million total Bitcoin, the value of Bitcoin is projected to go up for the next 100 years because Bitcoin has to spread into the economy. It's happening very slowly. So people are using it as a store of value over time. Instead of storing their money in the government fiat, they're using Bitcoin. Now we know from economic theory and fact that when you save your money in fiat money, which is the money of the government, it is by design meant to lose 2% of its value every year, and that's the base amount. With Bitcoin, this is not the case. The total number of Bitcoin in circulation is going to be fixed. And so everybody knows how much Bitcoin there is in the market, and therefore you can store your value in it, confident that the value of it will not go down because there isn't somebody in the central bank printing the money unawares to anybody else. Bitcoin is a very strong brand. It is the first instance of what are called cryptocurrencies, and it's also the strongest. It has a massive appeal in the younger demographic. Everybody's going onto Bitcoin, and companies like Cash App are making it a global brand, and you can piggyback on that global brand simply by offering our vouchers to your employees. Bitcoin is novel. There's never been anything like it before. There's never been a technology that completely guarantees the elimination of payer fraud. There's never been a peer-to-peer money like it. It is a new phenomenon in the same way that the internet was new in the 1990s. People have been waiting for this for decades, and the technical problems that make Bitcoin possible, having finally been solved, means that this is now a reality. And we know, once again, that many companies are coming on board, including some of the oldest banks in the United States, have now just announced in the last 24 hours that they're going to be keeping a large amount of their treasury in Bitcoin. Bitcoin's time is here, Bitcoin's time is now, but it's not just for industries, it's not just for big players, it's also for small people, quote unquote. It's also for the ordinary person. The problem that we solve is how to get Bitcoin into the hands of these people. So once again, Bitcoin has a strong upward trend, and we are seeing this reflected in the price of Bitcoin, which is this week reached an all-time high of almost $49,000 a Bitcoin. We must bear in mind also that Bitcoin can be broken into a million different pieces, and so it's possible to buy a fraction of a Bitcoin, and that's what Aztec brings to the market, the ability to buy a small fraction of a Bitcoin. Next slide. So Bitcoin is the most popular of all the so-called cryptocurrencies. It's the most well-known, has the best brand, and the millennials are the largest segment of this growing market. They all have smartphones. They all understand sending WhatsApp messages and other kinds of messages. And so Bitcoin in this demographic is seen just as another sort of message that you can send from one person to another. There's very little education that needs to be done about Bitcoin, and this generation isn't concerned about the technical or economic principles of it to do with inflation and everything else. It's just another tool. They get the benefits of Bitcoin as a side effect. And as time goes on, these young people begin to start saving money. They will appreciate having had the opportunity to save their money in Bitcoin. Next slide. So the reasons why you should adopt Bitcoin vouchers from Azteco are various, but we'll give you the main ones. Our vouchers are very simple to consume. They're familiar to anybody who's topped up their mobile phone with a voucher. The vast majority of people on earth use pay-as-you-go to top up their mobile phones and internet accounts. So we've shoehorned Bitcoin into a format that people already understand. It takes no training whatsoever. Our vouchers are superior to every other method of getting Bitcoin for consumers, and they're very flexible. You can offer our voucher codes with or without our library to your consumers in any way that you choose to do so, either printed or by email. And essentially what you're printing out or delivering to the end user is a 16-digit voucher code. So obviously, since it's just a string, you can package that in any way that you see fit and any way that your users want to use. Our vouchers are not tied to any single party. They're only redeemable through us, and so you're not reliant on any third party to be able to redeem our vouchers. By using Azteco, you're leveraging the global Bitcoin brand without having to do any software development on your own or any of the other complicated things to do with delivering Bitcoin. You get all of the brands of Bitcoin with none of the complexity of having to offer it. And finally, being able to offer Bitcoin to your employees will position you as a cutting-edge company in front of all the other companies that are slowly getting used to the idea of Bitcoin and starting to offer it to their employees. And as time goes on, companies will be starting to offer Bitcoin not only as a reward, but also as a means of paying their salaries. But this is going to take a lot of software development for them. You get this without having to develop any software on your own. And of course, if you have the capability to offer to write software in-house, we can accommodate you through our API, which is a very flexible, very simple API to use. Next slide. So once again, you'll be associating yourself with not only this demographic, which is dynamic and eager to use Bitcoin, but with all of the big names in the world that are slowly beginning to get onto the Bitcoin rails for the Internet of Money. The most significant ones being PayPal and Cash App. The third one, MicroStrategy, is a company that's famous for having made a massive bet with their corporate treasury and buying almost $1 billion worth of Bitcoin. Now that, for them, is a way of protecting their corporate savings, their bank savings, from the ravages of inflation. But once again, Bitcoin is also for the ordinary person buying small amounts of money, where they can save money in a form that won't be whittled away by inflation, and also as a means of sending money and receiving money from anywhere in the world. Next slide. And this is a picture of how Bitcoin actually works when it's redeemed through an Azteco voucher. On the far left, you see an Azteco voucher of the typical kind with a QR code in the middle, and that QR code has the voucher code encoded into it. With our two wallet integrations, Pine or Blue Wallet, you simply scan the QR code on the voucher, and then in 3 seconds, the Bitcoin that's nominated on the voucher ends up in your wallet. It could not be more simple to use or to redeem. And in fact, in the Bitcoin business ecosystem, we are the best in class as far as user experience goes. So not only will you be bringing this revolutionary and very lucrative and important new tool from the internet into your business, but you'll be bringing it with a method and via a company that has made it so simple that literally anybody can do it. Next slide.
That's the first part. Thank you, Akin. Yes, we went through this quite smoothly. Thanks a lot for your explanation. So yes, this was the part, the Azteco part, so to speak. But now the next question you might all have, yes, we want to offer this for our employees, but how do we do that? And then, of course, you know, we have Suhas that will give you a full overview. So Suhas, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. So as Akin rightly put it, you know, what Azteco has done is made everything getting vouchers for the Bitcoin. That he's made it very easy. So what we have done is we have incorporated these vouchers in all our rewarding products. To give you a quick overview about Zozodeg, we are in rewards and recognition space for last 9 years or so. We have 3 products which essentially focus on consumer rewards, employee rewards, loyalty rewards. So all our customers, today we have more than 2.5 million consumers that use our platform. Thousands of customers, right from Fortune 500 companies to even startups. We have great ratings for our products like 4.5 CSI. Our consumers consume almost $40 million of vouchers through our stores today. We offer experiences, gift vouchers, perks and discounts. So excellent system to use. I will talk you through how we kind of integrate the Azteco voucher in our platform. Next slide, please. Yeah, so we are working with 1,000+ clients. Great brands that we have today. So yeah, next slide, please. Yeah, as I said, we have multiple ways people can reward. If you want to reward your employees, you can offer them points, and once they get these points, they can come to the Zozodeg store platform and redeem them for anything that we have in our catalog. So we work across 100+ countries today. We have lots of options. We have one of the widest catalog. And then one of the offerings that we have added here is the Azteco voucher as well. Next slide, please. In addition to what we have as gift vouchers, we also offer experiences. So your employees will be able to choose any of the experiences that we have on the platform and take it to the next. Yeah, next slide, please. So how does it work? It's very simple to reward anybody. You can just choose to deliver the voucher code to anybody using our platform. You just enter the person's name, email address, the amount that you want to reward to them, and then just send out the code. The code, what essentially gets sent to the person over an email or over an SMS, is going to be the 16-digit voucher code that we get from Azteco. And then once you get that voucher code from Azteco, yeah, next slide. Yeah, when you get that 16-digit voucher code from Zozodeg, you just come to Azteco website, enter it, and enter your Bitcoin address, and that's simple. That money gets added to your Bitcoin wallet. It's as simple as that.
Fantastic. Thanks, Akin. Thanks, Suhas, for your side of the story. So, now we have seen basically why Bitcoin matters. I think the case is clear. Again, adding Tesla news here. You can now buy a Tesla with Bitcoin, and later so much more things. We now know that the Azteco voucher is easy to use, is a very easy way to access the Bitcoin network. And we now know how to do it, but how to offer it to our employees through the Zozodeg Plum system. But now I guess there's a lot of people having a question. So now we want to take the next part of the webinar to answer these questions. So you're sitting here with 2 absolute experts in that domain. So we'll give you some time to ask any questions you might have, and yeah, we'll be happy. Suhas and Akin will be happy to answer all of them. So shoot, I would say. I don't know if there's anything else that meanwhile, while we wait for questions to roll in, that Suhas or Akin you want to add, or you think should be said as well about the topic.
Well, we have the first question, and it says, how about security? The security of the Aztec platform is identical to that security that we use for the redeeming of voucher codes or top-up codes that are done for the mobile phone system. So when you see the green lock in your browser, you know that the voucher code cannot be intercepted between the user and the Aztec website. That's the first thing. And then the other aspect of security is the security of the Bitcoin network itself. Now, the Bitcoin network, it's been running for 11 years flawlessly. And the reason why Mellon Bank, for example, in New York, that old bank that's started to keep its money in Bitcoin as treasury, is because that Bitcoin is now understood globally to be absolutely secure. This is the only reason why Bitcoin could be doing the things that it's doing now. It's because it is secure. It's provenly secure. It's an open source project. Everyone can see the source code in it. And so the questions about the Bitcoin network security have essentially all been answered. So once your users redeem their voucher, then their relationship with Aztec and Zozodeg is ended, and they have the Bitcoin, and they can do whatever with the Bitcoin, whatever they like. So this is another aspect of why it's so powerful. It's extremely secure. Another question. Another question is, can you share more what I can use Bitcoin? Presumably, the rest of the question was what I can use Bitcoin to buy. You can use Bitcoin to buy literally anything. There's a service online called Purse.io, which allows you to spend Bitcoin on Amazon.com, just for one example. And obviously on Amazon, you can buy literally anything. So if you use the service called Purse, you can buy anything through Amazon.com. And as the Bitcoin network becomes more adopted throughout the internet, you're going to be able to buy things from other stores without having to use a service that will interpose itself between you and Amazon. So, for example, you can buy a Tesla now with Bitcoin. So all kinds of stuff is going to be sold with Bitcoin. The next question is, how can we as a company sign up for Zozodeg? I think it's for Suhas.
It's for Suhas, yeah. Suhas, if you could take a look at that.
Sure. You can easily sign up, using our platform. Just go to Xozodeg.com website, and you can sign up for free trials, and then you can request a demo from our team. It's very easy. We have a chatbot on our website. Just go to Xozodeg.com and reach out to us. Yeah.
Okay, and then there was a question around costs of, what would be, how does the pricing work? If you could give a little bit of explanation there.
This is for Akin or for Suhas?
Okay, it's for you, Suhas. Yeah. It's how would it roughly work as a company?
So we have different models. We are a SaaS platform, so we would charge you, based on a monthly SaaS fee or an annual SaaS fee, or what works based on the use case. We have like per employee, per month kind of model as well. So we can work on various options for you.
Perfect. Thank you, Suhas. Then another question, is it unique, or does Aztec have competition in this area, in this industry? It's a question for Akin.
There are other companies that are trying to imitate what we're doing. We've been running this for 6 years now, and there are other companies that are trying to enter into our consumer Bitcoin market, which we created. But the difference between them and us is that our software is designed to allow users to, it's designed to allow companies to contextualize Bitcoin in the form of a voucher. Now, as you know, there are thousands of different voucher products on the market, and none of them require the user to show a passport or anything else. The other companies, which are inferior to us, require that the user identifies themselves with some kind of government ID before they will allow them to redeem the voucher, or redeem the Bitcoin. So because we've positioned ourselves in the same category as gift cards, we don't have to do that. And that means that our API can be used, and the whole system is less friction than the people who are trying to get into this area. So it's very important to understand and contextualize Bitcoin correctly, and to make sure that your business model is 100% compliant at the same time, which ours is.
Yeah. Next question is an interesting one. Well, for the moment, we're talking about the US market, of course. The next question is a bit about the Indian market, and how Bitcoin vouchers could at some point fit in there. It's a bit a joint question, but maybe let's first pass by Suhas, because I assume the Indian market is the biggest revenue driver still for Zozodeg as an Indian startup. But how would this look like in the future for Aztec vouchers?
Correct. So, thanks for that question. Yes, I mean, we have a number of customers in India. India is one of our largest market. So we make these Bitcoin vouchers available to all the Indian corporations through the applications that we have. So anywhere, and then, as like Bitcoin is a global entity, right? So you will be able to tell us, and essentially, Akin, probably adding further to this question, does it make sense to say that Bitcoin is just one brand, but we offer much more in terms of other cryptocurrencies as well? Would it going to be a similar way to execute? Because from Zozodeg, we can easily deliver any 16-digit voucher code anywhere on SMS and email.
Exactly. Now, this is a question that's actually a very, very good question, and it goes back to the network effect of the first mover, and also the security of the network. So, in the case of Bitcoin was the first example of a money that's native to the internet, and all of the subsequent attempts to do this are all derivatives of Bitcoin. So, as there's only one protocol for sending email from one device to another on the internet, one protocol for showing web pages, there's going to be one protocol for delivering money over the internet. There's not going to be two. So in this world of what they call cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin is going to be the one that lasts. It's going to be the one that beats all of the other ones, because it is the biggest, it has the first mover advantage, and it has the most users and the most capital stored in it. So if you know your internet history, you'll know that there were several different protocols and tools that were all vying for domination, but the ones that had the biggest traction at first won. And that's the situation that's happening with Bitcoin.
Thanks, Akin. That's a sensible answer. Waiting for other. Please, people, don't be shy. We have two experts here in their domain, so keep the questions rolling in.
There's a question here that says how to use Bitcoin vouchers for Indian corporates.
I think we pretty much touched already on that one, unless maybe there's something to add there. Feel free to add stuff, guys, while we wait for more questions.
No, this is really exciting. Thanks, Akin and Tom, for working with us. We are going to be adding a lot more, especially right, given the background that we have today, where everybody wants to know how to use Bitcoin and make it part of their everyday thing. So it's going to be interesting. I think we are poised for 2021, where people's interest is at the peak. And we have already set up everything in terms of how people can, write from employees. So we are reaching the masses today, to help them get a piece of the action that's happening on the Bitcoin front. So this is going to be fantastic.
Absolutely. And we're very happy to be working with Zozodeg with a massive international reach of precisely the kind that is essential to make Bitcoin the ecosystem of Bitcoin to close the circle, so that it's not a niche thing for the super rich or for hobbyists, but this space in between, the other part of the circle, for the ordinary people to use in this reward space is very, very important for us. And so we're very happy to be working with you.
Perfect.
Very nice closing words. Thank you once again. So thanks to Zozodeg. Thanks to you, Suhas. Thanks for Priya and colleagues for organizing. And thanks, Akin, for your explanations about the Azteco part and about the Bitcoin part. And yeah, thanks for the audience, of course, lastly but not leastly, for following. And the webinar will also be made available on YouTube. So afterwards you can, because I see that is a question from Alena, it will be sent to YouTube or put on YouTube, so you can consult the whole webinar at your leisure. Cool. Thanks a lot, everybody.
Thank you.
And let's do a next webinar a bit later, I would say, right?
Yeah.
For certain.
Take
Perfect.
care, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Cheers.
Bye-bye.